Man spends 2 years down in his basement before unveiling his wild scheme. A man in desperate need for an escape went down to his basement one day and started tearing it to shreds. After 2 years, he was finally done with his project, and when his family saw what he created, they knew he'd never need to leave the house again. The anonymous super dad dreamed of the perfect getaway inside his home for years, but finally he was ready to make it happen. He had the perfect space, his totally bland and boring basement. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. But where other people saw a dingy basement, the man had vision. To begin, he removed the tiles on the ceiling, the front of the closet, and the shelves. Whatever he had up his sleeve, it required a pretty serious renovation. He stripped and expanded the closet toward the back of the room. Inside, he set up wiring that appeared to hook up to some kind of audio-video system. It certainly was a lot of equipment. He added soffits, those elongated boxes along the ceiling, next. These structures are a type of eave that, when used indoors, can provide indirect lighting to a room. What's this? A projector. This handyman positioned it between the soffits at the back of the room. Either he was teaching a lot of high school classes down there, or he was planning on screening films in his home movie theater. As you'd expect, his entire family went wild for his idea, even though it was taking quite a while to materialize. The kids weren't much help, but they were useful for measuring out the screen. Even with the basics in place, a real theater needs some style. To spruce it up, the super dad set sheetrock into place and situated lights around the ceiling. That way, you'd have just enough light to make a snack or bathroom run without tripping over yourself. Time to paint. The multiple coats of gray didn't make for the prettiest walls in the world, but that's okay. After all, you want to direct your audience's attention to the movie screen and not the room around it. Specialized insulation to improve the acoustics went in front of the room. After all, you want to hear the roar of action scenes, explosions from your theater seat, and not the kitchen upstairs. He placed a stage in front of that, which added some depth to the screen for a real theater feel. Maybe it also leaves the door open for some live performances in the future. Who wants some killer sound? That's a lot of gear, but only the top ones are speakers. Below them, those painted boxes serve as stands to ensure the brunt of the sound blares out at ear level. Finally, he put the screen back in place, and the theater began to truly take shape. This creator even dubbed it the Level 4 Home Theater, because every good venue needs a catchy name. Not too shabby, but the project wasn't done. He could screen movies in the basement, but he knew nobody would ever watch them unless he upgraded the room's style and comfort. A custom-made box was placed in the ceiling with an array of varnished crown molding on top of that. That looks great. Maybe this handyman could get a job building professional theaters once he's done with his own. The columns on the side of the room are a nice touch. In addition to adding some color to the walls, they provide a sneaky place to hide the room's outlets and AV jack. Otherwise, they'd stick out like a sore thumb. But the columns weren't finished quite yet. They still needed a trim. When it comes to home improvement, paying attention to the little details can really take a project like this to the next level. Wow, that's a total turnaround from the boring off-white walls. Even without the projector on, he's made this space a cool room just to hang out in. Finally, the soon-to-be theater manager interspersed acoustic paneling between each of the columns to further improve the sound. With these in place, all he really had to do was invest in some quality seating, and then time for opening night. The dad laid down the reddish carpet for the grand premiere, and we can only assume he wore a tuxedo as well. After nearly 2 years of work, it was time for the big show in 2013. All that's missing are some overpriced snacks and a few kids trying to sneak into the R-rated movie, and it would be just like the real deal. The only problem, what movie do you start with? Hopefully this dad had a little extra money set aside in the budget for a Netflix subscription. He certainly dropped a bundle on his DIY project, though as another dad proved, sometimes you can transform your home with mere pocket change.